Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Think about that for a moment. How much of your life has been shaped not by choice, but by the silent patterns within you? We believe we are steering our lives, yet so often it is our hidden fears, doubts, and unresolved wounds that are steering us. Jung's wisdom was not simply psychology, it was a mirror held up to the soul. And if you are here watching this, it is not by accident. It means a part of you is ready to break free from those hidden forces, to step into awareness, and to claim the life that was always meant for you. This video is not just another motivational talk. It is a call to awaken the winner that already exists inside you. You are here right now, listening to these words, not because of chance, but because something in you was ready. The truth is, life has a way of placing the right message in front of the right person at the exact right time. You may think you stumbled upon this video randomly, but nothing about this moment is random. There is a current that flows through your existence, guiding you, even when you don't realize it. Those who are willing to grow, those who are willing to rise above the ordinary, are the ones who find themselves in places like this, receiving reminders that stir something deep inside them. The people who are asleep to their own potential scroll past moments like this. They're too distracted, too busy filling the void with noise, too comfortable clinging to mediocrity. But not you. You stopped, you listened. Something inside of you recognized a signal that called out to your spirit. That's what separates the one who wins from the one who stays stuck. The ability to recognize when life is speaking to you. Winning has never been about luck, and it has never been about shortcuts. It's about alignment. The winners of this world are those who can sense when life is presenting them with something greater, and instead of ignoring it, they embrace it. This moment, right now, is proof that you are in motion toward that higher self, that greater possibility. The fact that you are here is a reflection of the fact that you are already different, already chosen, already marked for something more. Think about how many times you've come across wisdom, yet ignored it. How many times has life whispered to you, only for you to drown it out with doubt, fear, or distraction? But the difference today is that you're listening. That is the beginning of winning. Listening when the world is speaking in ways others cannot hear. The majority only respond when life screams at them, when pain forces them to move. But the one who wins doesn't wait for chaos. They hear the subtle call and follow it. The fact that you're here proves you have that gift. You are not ordinary. You are not someone who drifts endlessly through life without direction. Deep inside, you've always known that there is something pulling you toward greatness. And every time you choose to listen to that inner call, every time you stop and lean into messages like this, you strengthen the part of you that wins. You are feeding the voice within that tells you not to give up, not to settle, not to waste your life in smallness. Winners attract the right message because they are prepared to receive it. The person who clings to their excuses cannot hear this truth. They'll call it cliché. They'll dismiss it. But you know differently. You know that in this moment, something powerful is aligning with your journey. This isn't about hype. It's about recognition. Recognition that life is giving you what you need to take the next step. Ask yourself what brought you here. Not just the algorithm, not just a click, but what inside you demanded that you stop and listen. That is the part of you that wins. That is the seed of greatness already alive in you. And when you feed it with truth, when you feed it with discipline, when you feed it with courage, it grows until it becomes unstoppable. So understand this clearly. You didn't just find this video found you. And it found you because you were ready. Ready to be reminded of who you are. Ready to awaken that fire within. Ready to stop pretending that you are average, when deep down you've always known you are not. Others may never understand. They may continue to scroll, to waste time, to live small. But you are different. You wouldn't be here otherwise. This moment is confirmation that you are already on the path. And that is why only winners find this message. Because they are not waiting for life to hand them a map. They already carry the compass inside them, and it always leads them to the truth they need at exactly the right time. And that is why you are here. It is easy to believe that your life is shaped by circumstances, by what happens around you, by the things you cannot control. But the truth is far deeper than that. Your circumstances are not what decide your future. Your mindset does. Two people can live through the exact same situation, face the same challenge, endure the same pain, and yet one will crumble while the other will rise. What makes the difference? It is not luck. It is not resources. It is not privilege. It is the way the mind chooses to see, to interpret, and to respond. Think about it: a setback can be seen as a prison or as a lesson. Failure can be interpreted as a dead end or as a teacher. Pain can be viewed as punishment or as a sharpening tool. Winners are not those who escape suffering. They are not those who are handed easy roads. Winners are those who learn to master their minds so completely that no circumstance can define them. The world bends to the one who refuses to be defined by it. You have faced moments where it felt like everything was against you. Times when nothing seemed to work, when the doors were closed, when people doubted you, and maybe even when you doubted yourself. But look closely at those moments. What truly determined the outcome was not the size of the obstacle. It was the strength of your mind in the face of it. Every time you said, "This won't break me," you stepped closer to victory. Every time you refused to surrender, you built yourself into the kind of person who wins. Your mindset is the architect of your reality. If you think small, your life will shrink to fit those thoughts. If you believe yourself weak, you will live as though you have no strength. But when you choose to see yourself as capable, when you choose to frame struggle as preparation, when you choose to see opportunity even in darkness, the world responds to that belief. Life itself begins to rearrange to match the quality of your inner vision. That is why you cannot wait for better circumstances before you change your mind. You cannot wait until you feel strong to decide to be strong. You cannot wait for evidence before you believe. Winners understand that belief comes first, action follows second, and results arrive last. Most people do it backwards. They wait to see results before they allow themselves to believe. And because of that, they never break free from mediocrity. But the ones who win know that the battle is already won inside, long before the outside world reflects it. Look at every person who has achieved something extraordinary. They had reasons to quit just like you. They had doubts just like you. They had people who told them it was impossible. The only difference is that they chose a different interpretation. Where others saw impossibility, they saw a challenge. Where others saw finality, they saw a beginning. Where others surrendered, they declared, "This is not the end of me." When you truly understand this, you stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. You stop saying, "If only I had this," or "If only life gave me that." And instead you declare, "I will create with what I have. I will start where I am. I will make something out of nothing. Because my mind is stronger than what surrounds me." That is the essence of winning. The storms of life do not discriminate. Every human being will be tested, broken, and pressed by forces larger than themselves. But not every human being responds the same way. The majority fold, while the few rise. And those few are not different by nature. They are different by choice. They are different because they have trained their minds to stand unshaken, no matter how strong the wind blows. And here is the secret: your circumstances will eventually shift. They always do. No storm lasts forever. But what truly matters is who you become while you are inside the storm. If your mindset is weak, even sunshine will not save you. But if your mindset is strong, no darkness can destroy you. So do not ask for easier days. Do not wish for lighter burdens. Instead, build a mind that can endure anything. Build a mindset so powerful that no matter where you are placed, no matter what you are given, you will find a way to win, because that is what separates the few from the many. And the one who masters the mind, masters life. Every human being carries within them a part of themselves they try to avoid, deny, or bury. It is the part that feels uncomfortable, the part that holds fears, insecurities, doubts, even desires you don't want to admit. Most people spend their entire lives running from it, pretending it doesn't exist, wearing masks to cover what they don't want the world, or themselves, to see. But the truth is, you can never run from yourself. That hidden part of you, that shadow you resist, doesn't disappear simply because you ignore it. It grows stronger in silence, and it quietly controls the direction of your life. Winners are different. They don't run from their shadow, they face it. They bring the hidden into the light, not because it is easy, but because they know real strength comes from integration. When you deny what lives inside you, you give it power over you. But when you confront it, when you acknowledge your fear, your anger, your envy, your weakness, you strip it of its power. You transform it from an enemy into an ally. Think of the people you admire most, the ones who walk with unshakable confidence, the ones who seem whole and authentic. Do you think they arrived there by pretending to be perfect? No, they became that way because they stopped pretending altogether. They looked at their flaws without fear. They admitted their mistakes without shame. They embraced their imperfections as part of their humanity, and in doing so, they found freedom. This is why so many never rise to greatness, because they are terrified of themselves. They live in fear of what they might discover if they look too deeply within. They think strength means denying weakness, but the opposite is true. Strength means having the courage to sit with your weakness, to understand it, and to use it as fuel. The person who pretends they are unafraid is fragile. The person who admits their fear and faces it becomes unbreakable. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It carries within it the lessons you most need to learn about yourself. It shows you where you are still hiding, where you are still small, where you are still chained by the past. The moment you decide to stop running from it, you begin to reclaim your power. You begin to live not as a divided self, but as a whole being. So ask yourself, what are you avoiding? What truth about yourself do you keep in the dark? Is it the belief that you are not good enough? Is it the resentment you carry but never speak of? Is it the fear that no matter what you do, you will never escape failure? Whatever it is, it holds you back more than any obstacle in the outside world. The chains around you are not forged by circumstances, but by the parts of yourself you have not yet faced. Winners know this, and that is why they choose the harder path. They look in the mirror without turning away. They say, yes, I am afraid, but I will move forward anyway. Yes, I have failed, but I will learn and rise again. Yes, I carry darkness within me, but I will transform it into light. And it is through this process that they develop true power, not the fragile image of strength, but the real thing, the kind of strength that no one can take away. Do not misunderstand, this is not a comfortable journey. It will challenge you, it will unsettle you, it will demand honesty of the highest order. But it is the only path to real freedom, because until you face your shadow, you are not truly free. You are controlled by what you refuse to see. The moment you embrace it, you break those chains. You reclaim all the pieces of yourself that you left behind. And with that wholeness comes clarity, resilience, and the kind of authenticity that separates the winners from the rest. The truth is simple: your shadow will follow you no matter where you go. You can try to escape it, but you will never outrun yourself. The only way forward is through. And when you have the courage to walk through that darkness, you discover the light was within you all along. And that is why only the brave, only the honest, only the true winners ever face their shadow. Everything begins with belief. Before the action, before the achievement, before the applause, there is belief. It is the seed from which every victory grows. Without it, nothing takes root. You can have all the talent in the world, all the opportunities laid out before you, all the tools at your disposal, but if you do not believe, none of it matters. Belief is the invisible force that turns possibility into reality. It is the silent decision you make in your heart long before anyone else can see proof. Most people wait for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. They say, "Show me results, and then I will have faith." They want guarantees. They want certainty. But winners operate differently. They believe first, they act second, and the results follow. This is why they seem unstoppable to others. Because their mind is already fixed on the outcome before the world has caught up. Think about the moments in your life when you achieved something you weren't sure you could. There was a point, wasn't there, where all you had was the thought, the vision, the quiet conviction that maybe, just maybe, it could be done. That spark inside you is what carried you through, even when the outside world had no evidence to offer. That is belief. It is not about lying to yourself or pretending that obstacles don't exist. It is about declaring that you will not let those obstacles decide the story. Belief is not wishful thinking. It is a decision. It is the refusal to entertain defeat before the battle is even fought. It is standing in the face of doubt and saying, "I choose to trust what I carry inside more than the fear that surrounds me." And once that decision is made, the mind begins to align, the body begins to follow, and actions begin to flow in the direction of that conviction. Winners are not given more certainty than others. They create it. They don't wait to feel confident. They decide to move as though they already are. They don't wait for the world to agree with them. They decide to believe even when no one else does. That is why so many are left behind. They spend their lives waiting for permission that never comes. If you want to understand the true power of belief, look at history. Every great breakthrough, every revolution, every achievement that changed the world began with one person who believed when everyone else doubted. They were told it was impossible. They were mocked. They were rejected. Yet they moved forward because their belief was stronger than the voices around them. And in time, the world adjusted to match what they already knew. This is the same power available to you right now. The life you dream of does not require you to wait until everything is perfect. It requires you to believe it is possible before it has even begun. To hold the vision when it looks ridiculous, to act with conviction when it feels uncertain, to move forward when every voice of doubt tells you to stop. That is what separates winners from those who never rise. You see, fear will always be present. Doubt will always whisper in your ear. Circumstances will always offer excuses. But belief is the fire that burns through all of it. The one who believes does not escape fear. They simply refuse to bow to it. They walk forward anyway, and in walking, they prove that their belief was not a lie, but the foundation of their strength. This is why belief must come before action. If you wait to believe until after you see results, you will never begin. But when you dare to believe first, even when you have no evidence, you set in motion a chain of events that leads to results others call impossible. The truth is, the world bends not to those who doubt, but to those who carry unwavering faith in their vision. So when you feel weak, when you feel uncertain, when you feel like nothing around you supports your dream, remember this: your belief is enough to begin. You don't need the world's approval. You don't need certainty. You need the courage to hold on to the fire inside you, no matter how small it seems, and feed it until it grows. Because the moment you believe, truly believe, you have already taken the first step toward victory. And that is why the one who wins is always the one who dares to believe first. There is no such thing as a life without hardship. No one escapes disappointment, failure, or pain. But the truth is, these are not punishments. They are training grounds. Every champion, every person who has risen to greatness, has done so not in spite of setbacks, but because of them. Resilience is the secret ingredient. It is the ability to bend without breaking, to fall without surrendering, to suffer without losing faith in what you are becoming. Without resilience, even the most talented and gifted collapse. With it, even the most ordinary rise to extraordinary heights. Think about the moments in your life when you thought you couldn't go on. The nights you questioned whether it was worth it. The days you felt crushed under the weight of everything stacked against you. Yet somehow, you are still here. Somehow, you found enough strength to keep moving. That strength, that choice to rise one more time, is resilience. It is the quiet decision that says, "I am not finished yet." That is the spirit of every true winner. Failure is not final unless you accept it as final. Pain is not defeat unless you give it permission to define you. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who move forward is not that one group suffers less, but that one group refuses to let suffering be the last word. They treat every fall as a lesson, every rejection as redirection, every obstacle as a stepping stone. Resilience is not denial, it is transformation. It is the art of turning struggle into strength. The world often admires success, but forgets the scars behind it. People look at the finished product and say, "They were lucky." They don't see the countless times that person was knocked down and stood back up again. They don't see the tears, the doubt, the endless hours of effort that seemed to lead nowhere. What they fail to understand is that without those scars, without those setbacks, the victory would have been impossible. The very struggle they want to avoid is the soil where resilience grows, and resilience is the soil where champions are born. You cannot choose whether life will test you. It will. You cannot decide when storms come. They arrive without warning. But you can choose how you respond. And in that choice lies everything. The ones who complain, who give up at the first sign of resistance, never discover who they are. But the ones who endure, who face the storm head-on, discover a strength inside themselves they never knew existed. Resilience is not built in comfort. Comfort makes you soft. It is built in the fire, in the nights when you have no clear reason to keep going but you do anyway. Each time you rise after being broken, you add another layer of steel to your soul. You may not notice it in the moment, but over time it shapes you into someone unshakable. That is why what breaks others builds the resilient. It is not about the event, it is about the response. This is why winners never fear failure. They know it is not the opposite of success but part of it. They understand that every setback carries a hidden gift, every loss hides a lesson, and every pain is shaping them into the kind of person who cannot be defeated. Resilience turns obstacles into teachers. It transforms suffering into growth. It makes the very thing that was meant to destroy you into the very thing that prepares you to win. Look at yourself right now. Everything you have survived until this moment proves your resilience. It proves you are not weak, even if you have felt weak. It proves you are not broken, even if you have been hurt. It proves you have within you the very quality that defines champions, the refusal to stay down when life knocks you over. So never curse the storm. Never despise the struggle. These are the tests that reveal who you are meant to become. And every time you rise, every time you refuse to quit, every time you endure what others cannot, you are declaring with your actions, "I am a winner." And that is why resilience is the mark of every true champion. There are moments in life when everything seems uncertain, when no matter how hard you try, the path ahead feels hidden. You push, you strive, you plan, yet the results don't come when you expect them. It is in these moments that frustration takes over, and doubt begins to whisper that maybe you are not meant for more. Maybe life is not on your side. But what if the truth is that everything is unfolding exactly as it should? What if the delays, the detours, and the struggles are not signs of failure, but signs of alignment? Winners understand this truth. Synchronicity and timing are not accidents. They are signals that you are being guided. Have you ever noticed how certain people, ideas, or opportunities appear in your life at the precise moment you need them most? Not earlier, not later, but right when you are ready. That is not random. That is life showing you that there is a deeper order at work, one that cannot be measured by clocks or calendars. Winners recognize these moments. They trust that when the door hasn't opened yet, it is because they are still being prepared to walk through it. The difference between those who give up and those who rise is not that one group encounters fewer delays. It is that winners have learned to wait with faith. They know that unseen forces are aligning, and that the universe has a way of placing everything in order when the time is right. They do not panic in the silence. They do not curse the waiting. They see it as proof that something greater is forming. Most people miss this because they are impatient. They believe success should come on their schedule. They think the world owes them instant results. But life does not bend to impatience, it bends to readiness. If you receive what you are not prepared for, it will slip through your hands. Timing is not about withholding, it is about protection. It ensures that when the opportunity comes, you will not just encounter it, you will keep it. Synchronicity is the reminder that you are not alone in your journey. The right people, the right words, the right opportunities arrive when your inner state is aligned with them. That is why your inner work matters so much. If you are filled with doubt, fear, and chaos, you will miss the signs around you. But when you begin to trust, when you quiet your mind and open your eyes, you will see that life has been speaking to you all along. The challenge is not whether signs exist. The challenge is whether you are awake enough to notice them. Winners train themselves to see. They pay attention to the moments that feel too perfect to be coincidence. They take them as confirmation that they are on the right path, even if progress seems slow. This is what allows them to persist while others quit. Where the impatient give up because the result hasn't arrived yet, the winner smiles, knowing the result is already on its way, arriving in its own perfect hour. Think of the times you have been frustrated because something didn't happen when you wanted it to. Later, when you look back, didn't you realize the timing was perfect? That if it had happened earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. That if it had happened later, the opportunity would have passed. This is the wisdom that patience teaches. Life is not late, it is precise. And once you understand this, waiting no longer feels like a curse. It feels like preparation. Trust is the bridge that carries you from uncertainty to victory. Trust is the ability to say, I may not see the full picture now, but I believe it is forming. Trust is the strength to keep moving even when results are invisible. And it is in that trust that winners find their peace. They do not waste energy fighting the clock. They know time itself is an ally. So when you feel lost, when you feel like nothing is working, remember that silence is not absence and delay is not denial. Something is aligning for you. Something is preparing you. Something is waiting for you to become ready to receive it fully. Your only task is to trust and keep moving. And that is why winners live by faith in synchronicity and divine timing, while others give up before the miracle arrives. Motivation is fleeting. It rises when the moment feels exciting, when the vision is fresh, when the energy is high. But soon it fades. It fades when the work becomes repetitive, when the results don't come quickly, when no one is watching to cheer you on. This is where most people stop. They think because they don't feel motivated anymore, they have lost the path. But winners know the truth. Discipline is greater than motivation. Discipline is the anchor that holds you steady when the waves of feeling come and go. Anyone can act when they feel inspired. That takes no strength. The real test is whether you can act when you don't feel like it, when your body aches, when your mind is tired, when the reward is nowhere in sight. Discipline is not about waiting for the perfect state of mind. It is about showing up anyway. It is the daily decision to keep moving, no matter what your emotions are telling you. This is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The dreamer waits for motivation to return, hoping for a spark to reignite their fire. The achiever doesn't wait. They build habits so strong that even on their worst days, they keep moving forward. Winners understand that discipline creates momentum, and momentum creates results. The more you act, the more you strengthen the identity of someone who follows through. And eventually, that identity becomes unshakable. Think of it like this: motivation is like a gust of wind. It can push you forward quickly, but it cannot last forever. Discipline is like the engine of a ship. It moves you steadily, day after day, no matter the weather. The gust might feel exciting, but the engine is what will carry you across the ocean. That is why winners focus on discipline. They do not chase fleeting bursts of energy. They build systems, routines, and commitments that do not depend on emotion. The world will always test your resolve. There will be mornings when you don't want to get up. There will be days when the voice of comfort screams louder than the voice of progress. There will be moments when every fiber of your being tells you to quit. And yet, in those moments, you have a choice. You can bow to your feelings, or you can honor your discipline. The first choice keeps you stuck. The second transforms you. Discipline is not about punishing yourself. It is about loving your future self enough to act now, even when the present feels heavy. It is about understanding that your actions today are seeds, and if you water them consistently, they will grow into a harvest tomorrow. Winners don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What must be done?" And then they do it, no matter how they feel. That is why their results are consistent. That is why their progress is unstoppable. You must understand that discipline is freedom. To the undisciplined, it looks like restriction. It looks like sacrifice. But in reality, it is the key that unlocks the life you want. Without it, you are a prisoner to your moods, your cravings, your laziness. With it, you are free to build, free to create, free to achieve what others can only imagine. Every great achievement in history, every great life ever lived, was built on the foundation of discipline. The truth is, you will never always feel motivated, but you do not need to. Motivation may begin the journey, but discipline finishes it. It is discipline that gets you to the gym when no one is watching. It is discipline that keeps you writing, building, working, creating, long after the initial excitement has died. It is discipline that carries you through the seasons when progress feels invisible. And in time, the very actions that once felt like struggle will become part of who you are. You will no longer have to force yourself. They will flow naturally, because discipline reshapes identity. You no longer act disciplined, you become disciplined. And when that happens, no obstacle can hold you back, because you have built yourself into someone unstoppable. And that is why winners choose discipline over motivation, because they know it is the only path to lasting victory. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not with the world outside of you, but with the world within you. It is not the critics, the doubters, or the obstacles in front of you that truly determine your life. It is the thoughts you allow to govern you, the patterns you refuse to confront, and the emotions you leave unchecked. Most people spend their lives trying to master their surroundings. They chase power, money, recognition, or control over others. Yet they never realize that all of it is meaningless if they remain slaves to themselves. The one who cannot govern their own mind will never rule their own life. Winners understand this. They know that before you can achieve mastery over anything external, you must first achieve mastery within. If you are driven blindly by anger, fear, envy, or doubt, those forces will steer your life without you even noticing. You will think you are in control, but you are being controlled. You will think you are making choices freely, but in truth, it is the hidden patterns of your unconscious self pulling the strings. The only path to freedom, the only path to true victory, is to make the unseen seen, to bring the hidden drivers of your behavior into the light, and to claim authority over them. Consider how often people sabotage themselves without understanding why. They start something with energy but quit halfway through. They set goals but never follow through. They say they want change but continue the same habits year after year. Why? It is not because they are incapable. It is because they have not mastered themselves. Somewhere inside, there is fear they haven't acknowledged, guilt they haven't resolved, wounds they haven't healed, and those unspoken forces quietly dictate their decisions Until they are faced, nothing truly changes. Self-mastery is the art of looking inward with honesty and courage. It is about asking yourself difficult questions. What am I avoiding? What pain from my past still lives inside me? What patterns keep repeating in my life and why? Most people avoid these questions because they are uncomfortable. But the winners of life lean into them, because they understand that until you know yourself fully, you cannot grow beyond yourself. When you master yourself, you no longer react blindly. You begin to choose your response. Instead of exploding in anger, you pause and redirect your energy. Instead of drowning in fear, you acknowledge it and still move forward. Instead of being paralyzed by doubt, you use it as a reminder to sharpen your skills and strengthen your resolve. Mastery doesn't mean you never feel weakness. It means weakness no longer controls you. The beauty of self-mastery is that once you gain it, the external world can no longer shake you the way it once did. Criticism loses its sting because you are no longer dependent on others for validation. Failure loses its grip because you see it as feedback, not condemnation. Even success cannot intoxicate you because you understand that your worth is not tied to outcomes. You stand rooted in yourself, unshaken by storms, unmoved by noise. This is the power of mastering the inner world. Think about it. How many people you know live in constant reaction? They are triggered by words, thrown off by setbacks, controlled by moods, or crushed by disappointments. Their lives are dictated by circumstances because their inner world has no stability. But when you master yourself, you carry stability within you. You become the anchor in chaos, the calm in the storm. And that kind of presence is unshakable, unstoppable, undeniable. But self-mastery does not happen overnight. It is built in moments. In the moment you choose not to quit even when it's easier to stop. In the moment you choose honesty over comfort. In the moment you choose discipline over distraction. Every choice either strengthens your mastery or weakens it. This is why the small decisions matter. They are not small at all. They are the bricks from which your inner fortress is built. The irony is, the more you master yourself, the less you feel the need to control the world. You stop wasting energy trying to manipulate outcomes or bend others to your will. You realize the only true power is the power you hold over yourself, and that power is enough. From that place, your actions become clear, your words become intentional, and your path becomes certain. You no longer chase life desperately. You attract it naturally because you have aligned your inner state with strength, clarity, and truth. And here is the ultimate truth: without self-mastery, success is fragile. You may build wealth, but fear will make you lose it. You may gain fame, but insecurity will make you hollow. You may rise in power, but unhealed wounds will eventually bring you down. History is full of examples of people who conquered the world, but could not conquer themselves. Their victories crumbled because they were not rooted in mastery. So do not seek to master the world first. Seek to master yourself. Face your fears. Confront your shadows. Discipline your thoughts. Train your emotions. Build the kind of inner foundation that cannot be shaken by failure, rejection, or pain. When you do this, nothing outside of you will ever have the power to destroy you again. And that is why the one who masters themselves first is the one who masters life. There comes a point in life when everything you thought you could control slips through your fingers. The plans you built so carefully begin to unravel. The path you thought was certain suddenly bends into darkness, and the more you try to hold on, the more life reminds you that not everything is yours to command. This is where so many people break. They mistake uncertainty for failure. They confuse delay with denial. They think that because they cannot see the full picture, there must not be one. But winners understand something different. When life hides its answers, it is not punishing you. It is guiding you. What feels like uncertainty is often a test of trust. What feels like silence is often preparation. When you are lost, the temptation is to panic, to force solutions, to grab at anything that feels solid. But in those moments, forcing your way forward only leads you in circles. There is a deeper wisdom at work in life, a timing you cannot control but can learn to trust. The universe does not reveal everything at once because you are not always ready to hold it. Sometimes the path is hidden so you can grow stronger in the waiting. Sometimes opportunities are withheld so you can prepare yourself to receive them fully. Sometimes silence is not abandonment. It is the space in which your transformation begins. Many people cannot bear this silence. They fill it with noise, with distractions, with desperate attempts to escape the feeling of being lost. They cling to old habits, old identities, old relationships, even when those things no longer serve them, simply because uncertainty feels unbearable. But winners see this differently. They recognize that uncertainty is not the absence of direction. It is the seedbed of new direction. It is the space where something unseen is forming, something that can only emerge if you are willing to trust the unseen process. Trusting the universe does not mean you sit still and do nothing. It means you walk forward, even when the road ahead is not fully lit. It means you keep moving with faith, that the next step will appear as you take it. It means you stop demanding guarantees and start cultivating courage. You begin to see that life is not withholding from you. It is shaping you. Every delay, every detour, every unanswered question is working to refine you into the person who will be ready when the opportunity finally arrives. Think about how seeds grow in the darkness before they ever break the surface. If you judged a seed while it was still buried, you might think nothing was happening. But beneath the soil, transformation is taking place. Roots are forming, strength is being built, and life is preparing to break through. So it is with you. When you feel hidden, when you feel delayed, when you feel lost, perhaps you are not being buried. You are being planted. What feels like an ending may simply be the beginning of a deeper growth. The danger comes when you allow fear to blind you. Fear whispers that if you can't see the outcome, you should give up. It tells you that because others appear further ahead, you must be falling behind. It convinces you that silence means rejection, but winners silence fear with trust. They remind themselves that comparison is a trap, that everyone's timing is different, and that life's rhythm cannot be forced. They lean into patience, not because waiting is easy, but because they know waiting is part of the path. Trust is not passive, it is strength. It is the strength to keep showing up, even when results are not immediate. It is the strength to invest in yourself, to sharpen your mind, to discipline your habits, to nurture your soul, even when no one else sees your effort. It is the strength to keep walking with faith when everything around you tempts you to stop. This is how winners move forward, not with certainty, but with trust that their persistence will meet life's timing in a powerful alignment. There is another truth hidden here. Sometimes losing your way is the only way to find your real path. Many people would never have discovered their calling if their old plans had worked out perfectly. Many would never have grown if life had given them comfort instead of struggle. Sometimes what feels like being lost is actually life redirecting you toward the place you were always meant to be. And when you finally arrive, you will see that the detours were not mistakes, they were guidance. The question then is simple: when the path disappears, will you despair or will you trust? Will you crumble under uncertainty or will you stand firm in the belief that life is still working in your favor? Winners choose the latter. They know that trust is not about ignoring the struggle. It is about embracing it as part of the process. It is about saying, even if I cannot see the whole picture, I will not stop moving forward. Even if the answers are hidden, I will not stop preparing. Even if the outcome is delayed, I will not stop believing. This is what separates those who crumble from those who rise. Anyone can walk confidently when the path is clear. Anyone can believe when success is visible. But only the rare few can believe in the unseen, trust the process, and keep walking when the way is hidden. These are the ones who discover that life's greatest treasures are often found just beyond the point where most people give up. So when you feel lost, when silence surrounds you, When uncertainty weighs heavy, remember this: you are not abandoned. You are being prepared. You are not forgotten. You are being guided. The answers you seek will come, not when you demand them, but when you are ready to hold them. Until then, walk forward in trust, because trust is the language by which life reveals its greatest gifts. And in the end, only those who trust when all seems uncertain will ever discover the certainty they were searching for. There is a truth most people never want to face. Life will always test you before it rewards you. Every dream, every goal, every vision you carry will demand a price from you, and that price is not paid in comfort but in struggle. Too many give up because they mistake struggle as a sign that they are on the wrong path, when in reality, it is often proof that they are exactly where they need to be. The resistance you feel is not there to stop you. It is there to shape you. It is there to strip away weakness, to burn away doubt, to prepare you to carry the weight of the very life you say you want. Look closely at those who have truly achieved greatness, not just external success but deep fulfillment. None of them arrived there easily. Every single one had moments when giving up seemed easier, when the silence of their efforts made them question if it was worth it, when the gap between where they were and where they wanted to be felt unbearable. But they pressed on. Not because they were certain, not because they were fearless, but because they understood that the struggle was part of the journey, not the end of it. They trusted that each obstacle was carving out of them the strength required for the next step. This is why I say, winners are not the ones who avoid struggle. Winners are the ones who embrace it. They do not pray for an easy life. They pray for the resilience to rise above a hard one. They do not beg for shortcuts, because they know shortcuts rob them of the growth they need. They do not fear pain, because they recognize pain as a teacher. The ones who rise are not those who complain about the weight they carry, but those who train themselves to grow stronger beneath it. There is a reason why the path is never smooth. If it were, you would never develop the capacity to handle what lies ahead. Imagine being handed everything you ever wanted without the trials that forge you. The wealth without the discipline, the power without the wisdom, the opportunity without the preparation. It would not last. You would not have the depth to hold it, the strength to protect it, or the perspective to value it. Life withholds ease not to break you, but to build you into someone who can truly sustain the life you dream of. But here is the challenge: struggle is not glamorous. It is not filled with applause or recognition. It is lonely. It is silent. It is waking up early when no one else sees. It is pushing through when no one claps for you. It is enduring doubt when even you begin to question yourself. It is sacrifice, and it often feels invisible. That is why so few remain. They think no one notices their effort, so they quit. But winners understand something vital: life notices. The universe keeps score in silence. Every act of discipline, every moment of persistence, every refusal to quit plants seeds that will bloom later. Just because you cannot see the harvest yet does not mean the field is barren. The greatest danger in struggle is not the pain. It is the lies it whispers to you. Struggle will try to convince you that you are not strong enough, that the dream is not worth it, that no progress is being made. But these are illusions, tests of faith. If you can see through them, you will understand that every step, no matter how small, is progress. Every day you endure is another brick laid in the foundation of your future. The building may not yet stand, but the groundwork is being formed beneath your feet. The key is endurance. Anyone can begin with passion. Many can push through in the early stages. But endurance is what separates the many from the few. Endurance is not glamorous. It is often invisible, quiet, and lonely. But it is endurance that keeps you moving forward when the excitement fades. It is endurance that refuses to measure progress only by visible results, and instead trusts the invisible work being done within. It is endurance that makes you unshakable, because while others rely on motivation, you rely on commitment. Do not forget this: the very struggle you curse today may one day become the very story that inspires someone else to rise. Your scars will one day speak to others who are wounded, showing them that healing is possible. Your perseverance will one day become the proof someone needs to believe that they too can endure. Struggle does not just shape you, it shapes the impact you will have on others. When you rise through hardship, you carry with you the power to lift others. That is the hidden gift of struggle. It does not just build you, it prepares you to become a light for those who are still walking in darkness. Yet too many view struggle only as punishment. They believe life is against them, that the hardship means they are unworthy. This is the greatest lie of all. Struggle is not proof of your weakness, it is proof of your potential. Life does not waste time testing those who are not capable of more. If you are being tested, it is because there is more within you than you have yet discovered. The pressure you feel is not there to crush you, but to awaken you. Diamonds are formed in fire, not comfort. Strength is born in resistance, not ease. And greatness is forged in struggle, not success. So I say this to you: stop resisting the very thing that is shaping you. Stop wishing away the hardship that is preparing you. Stop praying for ease and start training for endurance. You cannot control the storms, but you can control whether you let them break you or build you. You cannot decide when the test will end, but you can decide how you will show up in the middle of it. The one thing you can always control is your response. And in that response lies your destiny. If you choose endurance, if you choose to see struggle not as an enemy, but as an ally, then every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes a lesson, and every delay becomes preparation, and every pain becomes power. This is how winners move through life, not avoiding the struggle, but walking through it with the certainty that it is shaping them into who they were always meant to be. And when the day comes, when the breakthrough finally arrives, you will not just rejoice because you succeeded. You will rejoice because you know you were strong enough to endure what it took to get there. That strength will never leave you, and it will carry you into every challenge still to come. Because in the end, it is not the ones who avoid the struggle who rise, but the ones who endure it until it shapes them into unstoppable forces.